We're just going to close our eyes for a minute so you can roll back the shoulders, tucking your chin in slightly. We're going to bring the attention to the breath. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. One more, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. One more time, inhaling through the nose, relaxing the abdominal muscles. And exhaling through the mouth, allowing everything to kind of sink down towards the ground. You can keep going in your own breath. So we're just spending a few breaths here, just grounding ourselves, visualizing our energy going down through our body and into the earth. It's important also to set an intention. I would say, before everything that we do, but also in yoga classes, it's a really nice time to set an intention for the practice. What would we like to achieve, or what would we like to feel after the practice? Perfect. So we're going to open our eyes. And we're staying here, we're going to do our cat-cows in this position. So inhale, we're bringing the hands, opening them wide out. We're arching into the spine slightly, maybe looking towards the ground or up towards the ceiling. Really reaching out with our fingertips, feeling the stretch in our upper body, widening those shoulders out. And then exhale, we're going to bring the chin towards the chest and the palms together. And then inhale, we're bringing the hands back out, opening our chest, opening the arms, maybe closing the eyes as you do this, slight arch in the back here. And then exhale, bringing the palms together, curling into the spine, reaching the fingertips away from us. Taking one breath here. And then on your next inhale, opening the hands out. We're just going to do this one more time, arching into the back. Opening out like you're ready to give someone a really big hug. Your eyes are excited to see the person. Your heart is exploding with anticipation and joy and love. And then exhale, bringing the palms together. Bringing the chin down towards the chest, looking towards the navel. The fingertips are reaching away from you. And then inhale again back to our neutral spine. Perfect. So we're going to just come onto our hands and knees here. And we're going to tuck the toes underneath, lifting up into our downward dog. So the hips come up into the sky, heels come down towards the ground. You can have a slight bend in your knee. Your chest is going to pull itself or push itself towards the toes. Let's just walk our dog. So bending into one knee, bending into the other knee. Moving the hips around, just making some intuitive movements here as we warm up the hamstrings. And then we're going to step slowly to the top of the mat. So once we're all the way up, just hanging for a couple of breaths in our ragdoll. So either leaving your hands as they are or just bringing them onto your opposite elbows. Letting your head hang heavy, chin gets tucked into the chest here, gravity is taking over as it gently pulls your upper body down towards the ground. And then inhale, bringing the hands down and rolling up to standing. Shoulders rolled back, standing up nice and tall in our mountain pose. From your mountain pose, we're bringing the hands up overhead, inhaling here. And then exhale, we're going to fold forward. So bending into the knees, letting everything hang heavy. On your next inhale, you're bringing the hands to your shins, pressing gently into the shins as you bring your chest up. Your back is parallel to the mat. Then exhale, you're bringing your hands down and stepping back into your plank. We're going to hold the plank here for a couple of breaths, bringing the hips down, pressing the heels back to the back of the room, engaging into the core, pressing through your fingers, for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to bring the knees down, hug the elbows in, the chin and the chest come down to the floor. The whole body comes down next, untucking the toes. Inhale, lifting the chest up for your cobra, hugging the elbows together, and then exhale back into your downward dog. So maybe adjusting the feet here. And again, you can have a bend in your knees. Perfect. We're going to open the right leg to the sky, so you can bring the left leg or the left foot into the middle of the mat. Inhale, bring the right leg up towards the ceiling, pressing it right up, feeling your hip opening up, and then we're going to bend into the knee, open the hip out towards the left side, the knee gets sent up towards the ceiling, and then we're going to just make some circles with that knee. So we're going to do 3 one way, and then 3 in the opposite direction. 3, perfect. We're extending into that right leg again. Inhaling here, and then exhale, we're bringing the knee to the nose. Inhale, extending it back up. And then exhale, bringing the knee to the nose. One more time, inhale, bringing the knee or raising the leg up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bringing the knee to the nose. We're going to hold it here, crunching the knee towards the nose for 3, for 2, curling into that back, lifting right up onto the tippy toes of that back foot. And 1, we're stepping that right leg to the front of the mat. Beautiful. Pivoting on that back foot. Inhale, lifting the hands up, finding our warrior 2, sitting down, bending into that front knee. We're opening out through the chest. So the hips are going to be over towards the left side of the room, sitting down into that front leg, checking that the joints are stacked one on top of the other. And then our upper body is also facing the same direction as our hips are open. So looking over those front fingertips, breathing here, and then we're going to flip the front palm, paint the sky with that front arm, and then gently lower that left arm to the back of the leg. Lifting up through the fingertips, opening the chest up towards the ceiling, holding it here. Inhaling, and then the exhale, we're coming back through our warrior 2, bending into that front elbow, resting it gently on that front leg, and then the left hand comes up towards the ceiling and to the front of the room. Again, bending into that front knee for 3, for 2, and 1. We'll come back up through our warrior 2, and we're going to go back into our reversed warrior, bending into that front knee again, and back into our side angle pose, bending into that elbow, bringing the back arm up and over, stretching into that side body here. Opening the chest up towards the ceiling. One more time, coming back through our warrior 2. Inhale, reversing the warrior, bending into that front knee, and then exhale into our side angle pose. Beautiful. Inhale, coming back to warrior 2, feeling a little bit of a fire burning here. Again, we're squeezing those inner thighs together, squeezing into those glutes. Holding it here for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to extend into that front leg. Maybe toe heel the back foot towards the front. Finding our Trikonasana, or preparing for our Trikonasana. So arms are as they were, reaching forward with our front fingertips, and then placing the front hand on the inside of that front leg and opening the chest up towards the ceiling. The left hand comes up and over, or up towards the ceiling. Maybe looking up towards those hands or down towards the ground. You're keeping your tailbone tucked in, so everything is still in the same line. You're not sticking your bum out behind you. And we're going to hold it here for 3. Maybe if your side body allows it, you're coming down further towards the ground. Again, making sure not to stick the bum out behind you. And we're not resting any weight on that leg. It's just coming to the inside. Perfect. We're going to pivot now. So coming up first, inhaling here, and then we're going to turn the hips towards the front of the mat. To do this, we might have to just adjust the back foot. So we want the back foot to be diagonal over towards the left side. We're pivoting on our hips, inhaling here first, lifting from the chest. And then you've got 3 options for your hands. You can either keep them on your hips, you can bring them into a reversed prayer with your hands, opening the elbows out towards the back of the room, or else you can just hold onto the opposite elbows. So going for your hand position, inhaling here first, and then exhale, we're coming into our pyramid pose, folding forward over that front leg. So pulling that right hip, the front hip back, and the left hip, the back hip forward. Inhaling, extending out of the crown of your head, and then exhale, maybe lowering a bit more. The tummy is coming down towards the upper leg. Looking down towards your leg or in towards your knee, holding it here, maybe wiggling from side to side, just noticing how that feels. And then inhale, we're coming back up to standing. Well done. So this time we're going to open out towards the side. We're going to prepare for our wide-legged forward fold. So the legs are nice and wide stance. Maybe the toes are going to point in towards each other. Inhale, bring your hands to your hips first, extending out of the crown of your head, and then exhale, we're folding forward. So when you're folding forward, you're keeping your chest nice and lifted until you come to the limit with your hamstrings, and at that point bring your head down. You can have your hands on your ankles or down towards the ground. If they're down on the ground, we're working towards bringing them in line with the heels, maybe widening the stance a little bit more if you've got your hands on the ground, and then leaning slightly forward, so bringing the weight into the ball of the foot and then bringing the head down towards the ground. So relaxing into the head, maybe giving it a little bit of a shake or a nod, stretching into those hamstrings. And then inhale, we're coming back up to standing, bringing the hands back onto the hips and coming all the way up. Perfect. This time we're finding our warrior two on the opposite side. So coming to the back of the mat, bending into that back leg this time, squeezing the hips in, finding that midline, and our upper body is going to face the side of the room. The joints are going to be stacked one on top of each other, the knee over the ankle, and then we're bringing the hands out, up, and so that they're parallel to the floor, looking over our front fingertips. Inhale, flipping that front palm, painting the ceiling. Exhale, coming back through warrior two and finding our side angle pose, resting the elbow gently on the knee, so not putting too much weight. You can test it by engaging the core, lifting the elbow off the thigh. So we really don't want it to be a lot. And again, we're lifting out of the chest, lifting out of the elbow, so pushing that elbow up and away so that your neck and your shoulder aren't crunched in together. Inhale, coming back through the warrior two and into the reverse warrior. Again, not putting any weight on the back leg either. You can test it by lifting it off. And then we'll come back through the warrior two into the side angle pose again. On your next inhale, coming back through the reversed warrior. And then one more time into the side angle pose. Beautiful. On your next inhale, we're going to come back up to our warrior two, holding it here, squeezing into those glutes, squeezing into those inner thighs, engaging into the abdomen. For 3, for 2, and 1, we're going to extend into that front leg, shortening the stance. So toe heeling that back foot, finding our preparation for our Trikonasana. So automatically your glutes are squeezed, you're bringing your bum in, your tailbone gets tucked in into that midline. Inhale, reaching forward with the back hands, bringing that back hand onto the inside of the leg, and then lifting the front hand up towards the ceiling. So you're either looking up towards the ceiling, down towards the ground, or out towards the side. And then maybe you're coming down, if your hamstrings on the side of your body allow it without you sticking your bum out behind you. Maybe coming down a little bit further for 3, for 2. Again, testing that you're not putting any weight on that lower leg, and you're lifting, opening out from the chest up towards the ceiling. It's a little bit of a twist as well. Finding your balance for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, slowly coming back up. And then we're going to turn to face the back of the room. Again, maybe just pivoting on that back foot to allow your hips to become square. We want that back foot to be diagonal. And then we're inhaling, again, checking choosing our variation with our hands. So either on our hips, finding the reversed prayer, or else coming and taking hold of opposite elbows. Inhaling here. And then exhale, leaning forward, folding forward. Once our hamstrings have reached their limit, then we're going to look down towards our knee. You're pulling your front hip back and your back hip forward, squaring off those hips. And then again, we'll maybe wiggle from side to side, noticing how it feels if you wiggle towards the right, if you wiggle towards the left. Relaxing the head, maybe giving it a little nod, a little shake. And then when we're ready, inhaling, coming back up to standing. Perfect. We're going to turn to the side of the room. Again, widening that stance, this time coming into a goddess pose. So preparing for our goddess pose, we're squeezing in the glutes. Inhaling, lifting out of the chest, and then exhale, we're going to lean down. The knees are in the same direction as our toes, squeezing into all the areas of the upper legs. You can bring your hands to prayer, maybe sitting down a little bit more and holding it here, relaxing the shoulders. Maybe testing our balance by lifting off one heel and maybe lifting off the other, right up onto the tippy toes. See how that feels. For 3, for 2, maybe sitting down a little bit more, and 1. Beautiful. Bringing the heels down. Inhale, coming up, and then we'll come into our wide forward fold again. So pointing the toes inward, again inhaling, bring the hands to the hips, lifting out of the crown of the head, and then exhale, we're going to fold forward. You can bring the hands again onto the mat in line with the heels, or else bring them onto your ankles. Maybe leaning forward into the balls of your feet and holding it here for 3 breaths. So inhaling here and exhaling here. So imagining that there's a string pulling your belly in towards your upper thighs. Last one. And then inhale, coming back up to standing. Well done. So we're just going to turn the front foot towards the front. The back heel is also going to turn up towards the front. And we're going to come down into a low lunge. So bringing the hands down to the ground, untucking the back toe. Inhale, lifting the hands up, squeezing into the back glute. Sitting down into this position, so feeling the hip flexors stretch. We're squeezing into the glute. Holding it here for 2 breaths more. Perfect. And then we're going to bring the left hand down to the inside of that front foot, tucking into the back toes, lifting the knee off the ground, extending into that back leg, and then the right hand comes up towards the ceiling. We're coming into a twist here. Looking up towards that hand in the sky. The heel comes to the back of the room. 1 more breath here. And then that hand comes to the inside of that front foot. We're going to toe heel the front foot, the right foot towards the side, coming onto the blade edge, the outside edge of that front leg, into our lizard pose. So everything is nice and strong, opening up into the hip here. You can stay up on your hands, or else you can come down onto your forearms if you have the space in the hips. Again, nice and strong in that back leg, the extended leg. For 3, for 2, and 1. Beautiful. Coming back up. We're going to bring that back knee down onto the ground. and lift the back foot. So you're flexing into the back heel or the back foot. You can reach around with your right hand and take hold of that back foot. So you're either holding it here in an active pose, so not holding onto that back foot. So that's perfectly fine as well. If you're struggling to reach, you can also take a strap here and wrap it around that back foot and pull it towards you, or else you're pointing into the toe and holding onto that back foot. So every one of those variations stretches into the hip flexor, sinking a little bit deeper into the hips, bringing that back foot towards you a little bit more. For 3, for 2, and 1. Beautiful. Gently dropping that back foot behind you. We're going to come into pigeon pose, so just toe heeling that front foot over towards the left side, and then the knee comes down to the back of that right wrist. So you can have your front foot flexed or pointed. You're checking that the back foot is straight behind you, or the back leg is straight, and then your hips want to be squared. So trying not to lean down onto one side or the other side, trying to, even if you can't, sit down completely with the two sides, or the right bum, you're just lifting out through your fingertips, through your legs. Inhaling here, and then exhale. We're going to bring the forearms onto the ground. And you're either staying up on your forearms, or else you're coming down even more if you have space onto your forehead, relaxing into the pose. So pigeon pose is amazing for encouraging the new supply of blood into the joints and the muscles there. We'll just take 3 more breaths, really relaxing into that hip, opening up the hip. You can feel the stretch on the sides of the legs, the hip joint, maybe closing down the eyes. One more breath here. And then inhale, we're going to bring the hands back towards the body. Perfect. We're going to stretch again into that hip flexor. So flexing into that back foot. Staying here. So your first option is to stay here. Second option is to reach around with the left hand. Take hold of that back foot. And we're pulling that, gently pulling that foot towards the body. So you can use a strap here as well if you would prefer. And then maybe coming into mermaid pose. So I like to come into mermaid pose by bringing the heel in the front towards my pelvis area a little bit more. This helps with the balance as well. And then we're just bringing that back foot into the crook of the elbow, reaching up with the right hand up and over, taking hold of the left fingertips. So try not to put any weight on the head here. We're opening out through the chest, so it's a little bit of a back bend as well. Shoulder opener as well. Holding for 3, for 2, and 1, and slowly releasing back down. Beautiful. We're going to come back into our low lunge on this side. So bringing the knee a little bit more towards the center of the mat. We're going to bring the right foot back to our low lunge position, and from here we're going to sit back into a half split. So extending into that front leg. It might feel a bit weird after being in the pigeon pose, sitting back towards our heels, and the front foot gets flexed up towards the ceiling, keeping the chest nice and high, up on the fingertips. Inhaling here, and then exhale, coming back through the low lunge. Inhale again for your half split. Exhale for your low lunge. We'll just do this a couple more times. Inhale for your half split. Exhale for your low lunge. Perfect. Once more, inhaling for our half split. So option to stay in your half split here, or if you'd like to go for your full splits, you're just gradually moving towards that. So you're bringing that front heel towards the front of the mat and the back heel towards the back of the mat. So choosing your variation, you're either keeping in your half split or going into your full front splits. Breathing into the space, going a little bit deeper perhaps, trying not to lean on one side or the other. And then slowly coming out, coming back into your low lunge. Bringing the hands to the front of the mat, and then we're going to step the right foot back, lift back up into our downward dog. So we can pedal into the feet, bending into one, bending into the other. Chest comes down towards the toes. And then we're going to step the right foot to the middle of the mat. Inhale, the left foot rises. Left leg stretches towards the ceiling. Lifting up a little bit more. Giving it one last push. And then we're opening the hip. So bending into that left knee, opening the hip up towards the side. That lifted foot is coming over towards the right side of the room. And then we're going to make some circles. So 3 circles one way, and then 3 circles the other way. Perfect. Extending back into that lifted leg. Inhaling here, and then exhale, we're bringing the knee towards the nose. Maybe blowing it a kiss, maybe kissing it. Inhale, extending that leg back up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bringing the knee towards the nose. Inhale, bringing the leg back up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bringing the knee to the nose, holding it here, crunching into this pose, this tiger curl. For 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to bring that left foot to the top of the mat and come down into our lunge position. So untucking the back toes, joints are stacked one on top of each other, and then lifting the upper body up towards the ceiling. Sinking down into those hips. We're just going to take 2 more breaths here. Perfect. And then we're going to bring that right hand to the front of the mat. Tucking those back toes, lifting off the back knee. Left hand rises. We're making a twist. So this is our easy twist. Again, sitting down into those hips, feeling the hips flexors stretch. Twisting into the back body. 2 more breaths. Perfect. And then we're going to bring that left hand down. We're toe heeling the left foot out towards the side, rolling onto the outer edge of that front foot and staying here this time. So just looking down towards the mat, squeezing into that back glute, and as a result stretching into that front or the back hip flexor. Staying up on the hands or else coming down onto the forearms. If your hip allows that openness, if your hip flexor allows. Sinking down a little bit more maybe. One more breath here. And then coming back onto the hands. This time we're going to toe heel into our pigeon pose. So that front foot comes over towards the right side. The left knee comes down behind the left wrist. And then with the front foot, we're either pointing the toe or flexing the foot. Sorry, pointing the toes or flexing the foot, yeah. Untucking the back toes, checking that our leg is in a straight line. Our hips are going to be pointing towards the front of the room. Inhaling here first, and then exhale, we're going to bring the forearms down onto the ground. So opening into the hips. Maybe bringing your forehead down if that feels good, either onto the mat completely or onto your hands. Staying in this pigeon pose for a couple more breaths. Perfect. Then we're inhaling, lifting the upper body up, flexing into that back foot, bringing it behind us, taking hold of the right foot with the right hand, and staying here. If you're coming into mermaid pose, you're bringing the front heel towards the pelvis area, flexing or pointing the toe, bringing it towards the crook of the elbow. And once you're here, bringing the front hand up and over, taking hold of the hand behind. Just trying not to put any weight on the head here. For 3, for 2, and 1. Perfect. Slowly releasing. And then coming back into our low lunge. So bringing the back knee a little bit closer. Coming onto the sole of the foot. Perfect. I skipped a little bit from that front low lunge. So we're going to lift the back knee behind us, flexing into the foot. And then again, this time with the left hand reaching behind and taking hold of the foot here. So pointing into the foot. You can come onto the blade end of the foot or else be on the sole of your left foot. Stretching into the hip flexor again. And releasing. Perfect. So this time we're in our low lunge, and then we're going to sit back, extending into that front leg, coming into our halfway split. So lifting the front foot up towards the ceiling. Folding over that front leg, keeping the chest lifted, and then coming back through the low lunge. Inhale here, exhale for your halfway split. Trying not to lean over on one side or the other side. Inhale for your low lunge, and exhale for your halfway split. Inhale for low lunge, and exhale for your halfway split. One more time. Inhale for your low lunge, and exhale for either your halfway split, or else you're going to take a full split by bringing that left heel forward. So if you took a full split the last time, you're going to take one this time as well, creating balance in the two sides. So the front heel gets pulled forward, the back knee gets pulled back, letting gravity bring you down towards the mat. Holding it for 3, maybe going a little bit deeper for 2, and 1. Brilliant. We're going to bring that front foot forward again, bring the hands down onto the mat, and then stepping back up into our downward dog. Beautiful. From the downward dog, we're going to bring the knees down, cross the legs behind us, and come down to sit on our bum. Sticking the legs out in front of us. Getting ready for our forward fold. So inhale, bringing the chest up towards the ceiling, flexing into the feet. Just taking a dandasana here for a second, maybe closing down the eyes. You can keep your hands on your thighs or bringing them out beside you. flexing the feet, pulling the toes towards you here. Inhaling here, and then we're going to bring the arms up. And exhale, we're folding forward. So towards the thighs. Maybe closing down the eyes. With every inhale, growing a little bit taller out of the crown of the head. With every exhale, folding a little bit more. For 3. For 2. And 1. Beautiful. We're going to lie back down. All the way onto the mat. Let's take a happy baby by bringing the knees in towards the armpits. We're going to bring the arms to the inside of the legs and then to the outsides of the feet. And we're gently pulling those feet down towards us. And we're pushing the feet into the hands. So opening up the hips, maybe giving yourself a little massage, maybe closing down the eyes. Rolling from side to side here. Perfect, and then we're going to lower that left foot down onto the mat, keeping the right knee in towards our chest. With the left hand, you're going to place it on the knee. The right hand is going to come outside or to the side of you, and then we're going to gently pull that right knee across the body, finding the floor beside us. So we're resetting the back body, resetting the spine. Closing your eyes, maybe looking up towards the ceiling or out over your right fingertips. Bringing the shoulders down towards the mat. Perfect. Then we're going to bring the right knee back. Bring the left knee to meet the right, giving ourselves a little bit of a squeeze. Dropping the right knee down, hugging the left knee in. The left hand comes out towards the side, and then we're drawing that knee across the body, bringing it across the body onto the floor beside us. Noticing how that feels in the back body as well. Again, maybe looking up towards the ceiling, or maybe closing your eyes. Maybe looking over towards the right side. Resetting that back in this twist. So the upper body starting at the fingertips on the left side, we're pulling or gently letting gravity or letting our muscles bring us over towards the left. And then when the leg crosses over the body, it's creating that twist, creating the releasing of any tension, of stress, of emotions in our back body and our back muscles that we carry. Let our breath take it all away. And then inhale, bringing the knee back up and letting it drop down. So extending into the legs. We're finding our Shavasana. You can bring your hands onto your belly or have them beside you. Palms facing up. You can close down the eyes. And then the practice is now over, so if you'd like to continue in your Shavasana, you can. You can actually pause this video and spend as long as you like in Shavasana. So just letting the body completely relax into the mat. All of the muscles are completely melting downwards, letting gravity completely take over, releasing any extra tension that you might be holding on to. And then if you're with me, we're going to just roll over onto one side. Taking 1 or 2 final breaths here. And then finally, coming back up to our seated position. You can keep your eyes closed as you do so. We're going to bring the hands to our chest. Bring the chin down towards the chest as well. And just saying a little thank you to our bodies, saying a little thank you to our minds, to our breath, to our spirit. Maybe coming back to your intention that you set at the beginning of the class. Maybe you can apply this intention to the whole month, the rest of the month, to the week or the weekend, to the rest of your day. So we'll say one just to finish the practice. Inhaling here and exhaling. Inhale again. Feeling the vibrations on your thumb, on your chest. And then bringing the hands down towards the knees, opening the eyes. Thank you so much for practicing. I hope you enjoyed this splits focus class. If you did, let me know how you got on. If you have any questions, just send me a message on Instagram or on Facebook. If you need a link to my Instagram or Facebook, it's just in the description box underneath the video. And thank you so much, and I will see you next time.